What is going on? What is going on? My name is Retta, and today's video is relatively interesting. We're going to talk about the financial revolution that's going on. WallstreetBets is the largest hedge fund on the planet. 6 million users. That is absolutely insane. More than tripled over the last week. Let's preface this by saying that I am not your financial advisor. I'm just a boy that likes to trade stocks. So, everyone wants in on this financial revolution. Right? Everybody wants a piece of the hedge fund billions. Everybody wants to stick it to the man, right? Some people, at least if you're a Mets fan, don't want to stick it to the man. They want to see the Mets get into a World Series first, but we're not going to dive into that, right? So, if you want to join the revolution, the first thing you got to do is you got to click the like button. No, I'm just joking. But you should still click the like button. Melvin Capital loses 53% in January. That's insane, right? One of the lead shorts on GameStop loses 53% on January, somewhere in excess of like $1.2 billion. Everybody wants a piece of these hedge fund billions, right? So to understand what happened or how you're going to find more short interest pumps, you first have to understand what's going on with GameStop and AMC in general. So I'm going to jump into a short summary. If you want a more in-depth guide, I'll have a link plug up there so you can from my video like a couple days ago that explains it a little bit more in depth. Now, with GameStop and AMC, just in general, if hedge funds don't like a certain company, let's say they don't like GameStop, they think it's going to have a rough time during the pandemic, they can bet short against the company. And in some cases, they can actually bet more. So let's say there's 1,000 shares of GameStop, and you want to bet against the company, so you buy 1,000 shares short. Well, you can actually buy more shares short than actually exist. This is called a naked short, and this is like you're betting that they're going to almost go bankrupt, right, or going to go bankrupt. And in this case, this is how you profit the most on GameStop's bankruptcy. So because of this high short float, it can create a situation where if GameStop were to have some kind of meteoric rise, then they would have to close these positions. And because they're closing more than actually exists, it creates this kind of ladder that just goes up and up and up and up and up. Somebody on WallstreetBets figured that out, and lo and behold, here we go. We got a financial revolution. So in general, you have to understand that short data is a little bit delayed. Right, so the number one way to look for short data, the most finite way to look for short data, is actually FINRA, the regulatory body, right? Requires firms to report short interest in all customer and proprietary accounts in equity securities twice a month. So although you see CNBC and pretty much every media firm reporting it, Melvin has closed their short, right, and everybody and everything like that, you might ask yourself, hey, how can we be sure they close their short, or I'm skeptical that they should close their short? Well, you actually can't be sure until they report it, and we're going to be 100% sure on February 9th. So they're due to report February 2nd at 6 p.m., and then by February 9th, we'll be able to see, has the short float really gone up or down? In the meantime, right, you can track short float. You can track short float using websites like Finviz. So if you go all the way up, if you go onto Finviz and you come all the way down here to the right, you can see that it says the short float is 120%, right? So it started off at like 160%, now it's at 120%. This is why a lot of people theorize that, they haven't closed their positions. So here's the idea. Here's what I want you to understand. Why is it important for short float to even exist? If you own, if you own 1,000 shares of a company, if there are 1,000 shares of a company and somebody bets against those 1,000 shares, right? If the company starts to rise and they're uncomfortable with the loss, they would have to buy back those 1,000 shares, correct? Right? They got to buy them back at market value, and this causes a tick up. Now, if they have shorted the company, if they have shorted more shares of the company than actually exist, then that's a problem, because if they have to buy back more than actually exists, they have to buy twice, basically, right? And this creates even literally a lateral that can't stop, right? And that's what happened with GameStop, right? So high short interest doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see a crazy move. A lot of people misrepresent short interest for short interest plus a catalyst. So what started this whole GameStop thing? Right? Before AMC even started running, what started this entire GameStop thing was the fact that we had a member of the Chewy board of executives come on to GameStop, and this was a kind of the catalyst, like, hey, they're going to revitalize GameStop into becoming this the more online-focused brand. That started the rise, and then they started to realize, like, hey, this is going up a little bit more than it should be. Why is that? They looked at the short float. They're like, man, if we keep this going, if we keep holding, we could probably hit 500, 700, 800, 900,000, whatever the case may be, right? But also with that, right, like we explained in the previous video, a lot of volatility, and it usually ends with the stock coming right back down. So, in general, just as a quick recap, you can short companies, right? Anybody can short companies. But these hedge funds kind of actually have, naked shorting is illegal. But these hedge funds are able to acquire more shares and borrow more shares just because it's been going on forever. It's not right, okay? It really isn't right. And they're able to drive companies into bankruptcy by shorting them into literally oblivion, right? And take advantage of things like pandemics as the catalyst to drive them into bankruptcy, right? And that's the reason why GameStop and AMC are running, is because people don't want to see these, number one, don't want to see these companies go down, and they don't think it's fair that short interest even exists, or shorting above the amount of shares that actually are there should exist, which is a very viable point, and it's been an issue on Wall Street for a very long time. So I, for one, as a trader, even before this, am very happy to see this happening. My opinion stands, right, is yes, you can look for short interest stocks. Let's say that you think you want to find the next GameStop, for example, right? All you have to really look for is short stocks with a very, very high short flow. Another example, another one for, like, we can screen for stocks with short floats. So we go over here, we go shortable, and then we can go to Control F, short, float short right here. And then you can say you have a high short float. Notice that this is above 20%. And GameStop was at 150%. That's how meteoric of it. That's how crazy it was. So go up here, click above high, and then we can just start looking through these lists for things with very, very, very high short floats. And in general, right, like if you're going to go through this entire thing, let's say we wanted to do custom, right, and we want to do like 100% only, right? Only GameStop comes in. So in general, if you want to find the next GameStop, you're looking for companies with high short interest, and ideally companies that have some kind of catalyst coming up, because a small rise could cause somebody to lose, close their short position, and then this just unwinds the chain, and the ladder starts going up and up and up. So if you have any questions, obviously, I would love to read some more comments. I know this is a little bit of a confusing topic for new investors. Again, you can always watch my latest, or I guess this would be my latest video, so my last video on GameStop, which explains it a little bit more in depth. In general, you can always ask questions down in the comment section below. I've created a Discord, so you can ask questions in the Discord as well. For the main part, I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited to continue making new videos. If you guys have any ideas or anything you want to see, leave that in the comment section below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.